Good morning, Spartans. Welcome to a tutorial. This one will be similar to the lesson during class. This is known as the concept logo. Now, just want you to be aware there is a concept logo video in place already. This was from last year. It's right here, known as project number 1. Now this year, it happens to be our second project, but I'm also making this a part 2 concept logo video, and I want you to refer to the part 2 video that I'm making right now. So don't use this last year's video for concept logo. Okay? Alright, so the first thing you're going to do, again, this is pretty much what we did in class. You're going to go to lessons, you're going to click on the concept logo, and you're going to click on the bunny rabbit, the jackrabbit, to download. Then you're going to hold down Control and click to get this drop down menu, and you're going to copy the image. So I'm going to go into Photoshop. You're going to do Command N or Control N if you're using Windows. And you're going to simply type in concept logo practice. Okay? Hit Enter or Return and Command V or Control V in Windows. Okay. So the next step is to take your quick selection tool. Now, I already did a lesson on quick selection, so I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to quickly, as the tool implies, I'm going to quickly select the jackrabbit. I'll be right back. Okay, so as you see, I have my bunny rabbit selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it from its background. You notice my layers palette, very important. You bring up your layers palette. If it's missing, go up to Window, drop that down and locate it there. F7, you see right here, that's the shortcut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Command Shift and J. What that does is it takes that image right here in my layers palette, takes that image, cuts it away from layer 1 here, as you see in the thumbnail. The thumbnail is that small picture, and pops it onto its own layer. So I'm going to click out the eyeball to show you. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of layer 1. Delete it. You don't need it anymore. Okay. Now, you notice no more ants. Now, if we want to bring those ants back, now I'm going to make my palette bigger so we can see a larger display. You don't need to do this. This is just for my purpose. Now, look at my thumbnail, larger. So I'm going to hold down Command and I'm going to click that thumbnail. That thumbnail is that small picture. Now I get those ants. Okay? Alright. So what I want to do is fill this selection with a color. So you can choose any color you want. Now the easy way to do that is just doing Option Delete and simply filling it like that. But I want you to notice something. Merely filling it with a color isn't the best way to show a silhouette of that shape, because you can see the edge isn't so clean. Okay, and so I pointed this out in class. So another way to do this is to go to your path palette. So where's your path palette? Well, you just go locate it, and there it is. So I'm going to bring that up over here. Remember, anytime a palette's missing, just go down to Window. You'll find all those palettes. Sometimes a palette is embedded in with another one. Okay, so back to the path palette. As this is selected, I'm going to go here, and this third icon from the right side, so you got the trash can, you got new path, but I want you to select Make Work Path. So I'm going to click that, and immediately what you should notice is a small thumbnail in the shape of that rabbit. Let's see, maybe palette options again. I'll make it large so you can see it, and there it is. Alright. Alright, so then the next thing you want to do is go back to your layers palette. Okay. And we're going to add a layer above this rabbit. So I'm going to move this down over here, or actually across there so you can see my palette. Okay, and right here I'm going to make a new layer. Okay, so there's now a layer above the rabbit, and in fact I'll call this rabbit. Okay, alright, now in layer 3 above the rabbit, this is where we're going to create that shape. So back into the path palette, that last icon on the left, it says fill path with foreground color. Now what is the foreground color? The foreground color is right here in your tool palette, the pink color right there. So I'm going to go ahead and click that button, and sure enough, there's the shape of that rabbit. Now if I turn off the visibility of the photograph layer, I'll see a nice hard edge, much cleaner than that other way to fill that rabbit. Okay, so you're going to do it that way. Now we're going to eliminate the rabbit layer along with the photograph, and I'll just call layer 3 shape. It's always good to name your layers. Remember what the name of this project is. It's called Concept Logo. So we're going to use this image. Oop, what did I do? I resized the path itself. You notice how the path is highlighted? I no longer need this path, so I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so we don't need the path anymore. So back into the layers palette, we're going to do Command T, and we're going to reduce the size of that rabbit. Okay, now when it's time for you to do your own project, we'll talk about what things you can do. Okay, remember, this is just practice. Now we've got our image. Now I'm going to bring in the type tool. So the type tool is letter T on the keyboard, and it's also this image right here, that letter T on the tool palette. I'm going to click anywhere on the canvas, and immediately what it does is it brings in a type layer indicated by this thumbnail, that little T. Okay. Alright, you can see a default cursor flashing. That means you can type anything you want, right? Okay, so here I have just a garbled non-word here, but obviously we want to type a word, and that word should reflect that image. So instead of writing rabbit, what we're doing is we're trying to create a concept, okay? Concept that might help us decide, best describe our image, okay? So the concept of a jackrabbit is that it's fast, right? So I could write fast if I wish, or quick, or some other word describing that rabbit. Now I'm going to highlight it by double clicking the T in the thumbnail, okay, right inside the layers palette. What that does is it highlights that word, and up in the options bar I'm going to change the size of that font. Okay, alright, now what I have here is my word. However, I don't want it to be pink. I also want it to be larger, so I can keep adjusting. Okay, so I'm going to resize this. Up in my options bar you can see. Okay, now I'm realizing that this font size is way too big. So what we need to do is go up to image size, and we're going to change the width from our original picture to 5 inches. Okay, we've done this before, so this is sort of a review. You change the width in the document size to 5. Nothing else you need to do, because it automatically changes. So we'll click OK, and I'll just shrink it down a little bit. Okay, and then there you go. So now we can change that size a little bit more. Okay, another thing we can do is we go into our character palette up here in the options bar. That little icon looks like a page, and that's our character palette. So I'm going to bring over my character palette, and I'm going to make some adjustments. So I want this to sort of reflect a fast action. So I'm going to stretch the horizontal scale of that word. So you see that stretchy T right there in the character palette. Okay, and I'm doing this because I'm able to do this because it's highlighted. Again, you highlight it by double clicking the thumbnail. Now the color's pink, so I'm going to change that, and I'm just going to choose a color that works well with that pink. These are complementary colors, green and red. Now these are variations of green and red, but nonetheless they're green and red. Click OK. Alright, and you see that my font is above my rabbit, but I want to make my font below my rabbit, so I'm going to just change the order of the layers. Okay, I don't want to hide the word, I just want to cover it just a little bit. Okay, and you're going to decide how you want to do that. Another thing I can do is I can do Control T or Command T in your case with the Macs, with the iMac or the MacBook. I'm going to then Control click to right click inside this bounding box, and I'm going to choose Skew. What that does is allows me to take this center handle and move it accordingly. Okay, and that just gives it even a more, it gives it that fast look, right? Okay. Furthermore, I can stretch out even more. This one is, let's see, what's this called? This one is called tracking. Okay, you have to decide how you want this to look. Now I'm thinking maybe I want to put it up here. Okay, so all these ideas you can decide later. Okay, so I'm just introducing how to use these tools. Okay, the last thing I'm going to want to do is color my background. I don't want this stark white, so I'm going to go to the background layer, and I'm going to choose some kind of a neutral color in my swatches palette, and I'm just going to merely do Option Delete to fill it. Okay, so far so good. The last thing I want to do is add some layer styles, and you do this by double clicking the actual layer. So inside that layer palette, I'm going to go up to my shape and double click it, and I'm going to highlight the word drop shadow. If I merely check it, all it does, so I'll do that. You notice how it's checked and not highlighted? That just gives you the default. If you want to adjust it, you got to highlight the actual effect, and then right in here, play around with that. Okay? Click OK, and now I'm going to go into my fast layer, and I'm going to add a bevel and emboss. Okay? And again, highlight it, make some adjustments if you wish. I wouldn't use texture. Texture just sort of ruins everything. So play around with those styles. Click OK, and that pretty much concludes the lesson. Okay, so what we've done is created a simple logo. Not a lot of design, but we used some of the functions from the previous lesson with the quick selection. We created a silhouette shape from that, and we added a word. So this is sort of a beginning lesson on creating a logo. Okay, we'll stop here, and please make sure you watch the video. Thanks for watching.